Okay, so we're back, second time lucky. Ran out of gas last time, so it did occur to me it might be worth having a little play with the gas tanks, getting some idea of how good and how much gas you're getting into the model. I had done a couple of little things to the model since we had our last attempt. I noticed there was a little wisp of steam coming out the whistle valve, so stripped the whistle valve out, a bit of Haldite, copper washers, just got everything a little bit more steam tight on the model, and I've emptied all the old water out because I'm going to start fresh with some hot water. But this was quite interesting. We got these, what are they called? The Go System gas off a well-known auction site, and you get 8 of them for about 40 quid, I think it was, something like that. But this is really a nice butane propane mixed gas delivered to your house, nice and simple, and it fits the Mason Engineering gas filler valve absolutely perfectly. But the can I was trying to fill with, when I've weighed it up, is about 200 grams with the gas filler on it, and a new can is about 530, and it says it holds about 350 grams. So really you're looking at an empty can of about 200 grams, so this can is pretty much empty. I mean, I can still hear gas in it, and you still get it to blast, but there's going to be hardly any pressure in there at all. So no surprise we couldn't actually fill the tank up. I think my gas was pretty much out. So what I'll do is try and get a little bit out of this can. We'll swap the gas filler over, we can show you how to do that, and then we go for a brand new can. We should be able to fill her right up. There's hardly anything in there now. Hardly fill anything at all. Yeah. It still actually has gas in it, but no liquid. When you point it down and do it, there may be a little bit, but very little. So quickly whip this gas filler off. Yeah, 165, 166 grams, so that is really empty. Cool. Quick swap over. Ooh. Yep, that works. About 30 seconds. Hopefully we can get it to do what I said before, which is all the liquid comes out, big blast of gas all over the place, and we know it's absolutely full. It's worth bearing in mind, although it looks like we're indoors, I've got all the doors open. Really, you don't want to be doing this in your house. And if you do it in the winter time, outside on cold grass, the gas can settle in the grass, and when you ignite it, put your traction engine into a ball of flames. So just to warn you, it's happened to me. It's taken a good long time to fill. We should be able to weigh this afterwards, get an idea of how much gas we've got out in this fill. This new Go system was about 530 grams, and I added the gas filler valve, so we can have a little weigh up afterwards and see where we are. It looks like I'm really leaning on it, but I'm not. Really, for a full tank, we're going to expect to lose about half of this into our gas tank. Probably about 2 fills to a full one of these. So we can get 100, 150 grams of gas in it. That's probably enough. We'll have a look and see where we are. So we're at 330. That's good. So I've put the gas filler valve on, which is going to be a little bit away, but not very much. I reckon you probably got about 100, 120 grams in there. That took a long time. Still not spitting out to show it's absolutely full. Tank's pretty cold, but it's a nice warm day today, so hopefully it's not going to be such an issue. We'll go for a bit more, why not? There you go. That's now completely full. See all the liquid spilling out? That means that gas tank is completely full. If only I'd stayed with it for a couple more seconds. There we go. 322. So we've gone from 530 to 322. So yeah, 175's worth of grams worth of gas. That's about half a tank. Yeah, I'm going to refresh with some hot water. We'll go for half a gauge glass full again. And we're all gassed up. The steam oil is the same from last time because we didn't actually get up to steam and didn't run. Didn't use any of that, so I'm just going to leave that as it is. I know we've got a nice good full tank of gas here. And I've also got my cold start cloth underneath the tank, so I'll hang on to the last little bit. Yeah, it's about a litre and a bit I put in there, so we're about half. Go a little bit more. Why not? Not going to be running for too long today, just get her up and give her a few spins, but like I said, half a glass will probably give you about half hour's run anyway. If you're running it light, you might even get more than that. So, safety back in. I've got a nice copper washer on here as well. Gives a slightly better seal. Okay. All good. Cloth is there. Now the burners are adjusted, let's get started. Didn't need those hairs on my knuckles. Now that's classic over-gassing. Just let that clear a little bit. It's a big tank, so you can really overdo the gas. Getting quite a lot of gas coming through at the moment, so I'm just just run it down. Run a little bit of gas through it. You can hear how fierce it is. Absolutely spitting. Give that a few seconds just to run out. Start up again. That's a bit better. We're on a nice warm day here. Already the top of that tank, you can feel that's getting very cold very quickly. So I'd assume it's going to be a cold start. I've got my cloth there, got my water, so if I need to give it a little bit of water because I hear the gas fall off, we can just warm that up a little bit. Even putting my hand on that made a difference. You hear the gas speed up a little bit. All I'm doing is holding this top of the gas tank and the bottom of the gas tank with a warm hand. So, it's just a waiting game now. Just wait for everything to warm up. Go around and put a little spot of oil on all the mechanical parts again. Any moving parts. Cranks, eccentrics, bearings, slide, crosshair, any moving parts. You can always clean the oil off. I won't bother too much with the bearings because we're not actually going to be running it. Just get everything on the top end, all the mechanics on the top end nice and oily. Nice and hot now. Because this is really still the first time it's ever been run, just looking for any small steam leaks, little water leaks that we might have, mainly just for a note for myself, so that we can do something about it before you run it next time. I think we're going to need very hot water on it. It's a nice warm day today. Although the tank's getting cold, it's not really cold. Got to be very careful with water gauges, they're very, very easy to break. Just going to give it a tiny tweak. Probably not going to bother with it. I'll just leave it as is, do something afterwards. Just starting to get a bit of steam whisking through, so I don't want to go too crazy. You get a lot of gas burn at the front. You can adjust these burners a little bit to try give it a little bit more oxygen. Hopefully it burn through that gas a bit easier. A little bit of time to get the burners correct. They do react quite differently when they're hot to when they're cold. You've got to get a bit of a compromise between the two. Still on that same tank of gas. So you get a good 15-20 minutes worth of burn out of that gas tank when it's full. If it's going out in a couple of minutes, you haven't gassed it properly. We're up at about 50 now. Plenty of water. I mean, it'll obviously run very well at this kind of pressure if you wanted to. That's when I run it right the way up and show the safety's blowing off. As soon as the safety's blow, I'll start it up and we'll start using some of that pressure. I think the best approach is I'll just refit that water gauge. Once it's all cooled down, strip it off and refit that water gauge again. Reseal it. For the time being, we'll press on. Gas tank's really cold now. Got my hands on it, it's absolutely freezing. But you should start getting some of that heat coming back from the burners and everything. See the water gauge is bubbling up and down, so it's getting very close. Still not registering any pressure on the pressure gauge yet. Just off the mark. don't actually really even have to have pressure on it to run it if you don't want to. It will run at a very low PSI. You can probably get it running. You're going to get a lot of condensate and water and oil coming through the cylinder the first few times it turns over. Cold cylinder versus hot steam, it instantly turns back into water and oil. So it'll expect a lot of mess out the front. It will all drip out the front into that little drip tray. Don't do it on your new kitchen carpet, let me put it that way. Yep, no, I'm not going to be able to steam it with this water gauge. It's wrong. It's leaking too much. And I'll let it cool down, I'll refit the water gauge, come back to it. It's going to go off in a second. Just coming up, so it should blow off any second. You can hear it start to whisper. Just about to touch the red. We'll use some of this pressure. Then not black on your valve gears, save a little bit of steam. I haven't actually done up any of the grub screws on the wheels. If you want to run it mechanically, pop it into gear. You can see all those gears working. Reverse gear, notch up. Forward gear, notch up. This is actually a brand new model, so everything is pretty tight on it. After it's running a bit, you should find use it a few times, it will get very, very slow, very smooth. You want to conserve a bit of steam, not produce so much. Obviously you turn your burners down a little bit, gives you a bit of control over your pressure. I mean, we're just under the safeties blowing off here. I can turn that right down. You've got lots of pressure to use. But we're running pretty light. Or you can turn the burners up. You're going to do a bit of pullage. You want to pull something scale load for yourself. Get a real belly full of steam in it, get it right up to the pressure gauge, safety valve is blowing off. Everything's warming up in that tank a bit now, which is good. See all of that running, we've barely dropped half a centimetre in the glass. There's plenty of water in that corner. Go on for a good long time. Did notice that the diffuser that's inside this burner had come back across the holes. See what difference that makes. All I did was just pop that back up inside. You can hear the difference on the burners. Down to about a quarter of the glass on the water now. Gas does seem to have slowed up a little bit, although this tank is nice and warm now. You can feel the heat coming off that. Still think that gas tank has been running for about 25 minutes. Maybe a little longer. Half an hour. Burner's still going strong. I've used up all of the pressure. Dropped it right down to 0 and I'm just getting it back up to safety again. Bend those over when you're actually using it properly. I've just left mine because I need to take them off for transport. Just off safeties now. Keep a bit of that steam up. I think we've finally run out of gas. Yep, I think that's it on the gas. That was a complete fill. clean up after this. It's not really a lot more to it. If you want to regas it, you just turn the gas completely off, regas, and off you go. If you've got the pump systems, you can put water into the boiler, but I mean, we ran for probably about half an hour there, and you've dropped just above the nut on the water gauge. Yeah, so I mean, it's really designed as a one fill, one run kind of model, same as a 3/4, but if you have the pump, you can pump water in as well. We do a crankshaft pump, or you can have the belly tank with a hand pump. It's more of a top-up pump than a proper hand pump, but it will put water in. But when you're done, really all you need to do is just clean it down. The beauty of the paintwork on the model is that it's all stove enamelled. In other words, it's cooked paint, so it's really very, very robust. It'll put up with oil and water, just about anything you'll throw in it. The general clean down, get rid of any oily marks that are on the bodywork, on the paintwork itself, as best you can. If you're going to run the model again, you can leave it with the water in. There's no reason why you need to take it out. If you're thinking maybe you won't run it for a few weeks, it's going to go back on the shelf, then you want to drain the water out. You've got a couple of choices here. You can take the safety out and you can siphon the water out, or you've got to blow that on your water gauge. Now that's the lowest point on the boiler. The best thing to do there, open the blowdown on the boiler. Open the blowdown on the water gauge, and that will slowly be draining the water out. You can help the model along a bit by just cracking the safety. I mean, obviously you need to make sure there's no pressure. The best way to do that is open the regulator, spin the flywheel, just make sure you're getting nothing coming through anywhere. If you crack the safety valve, that water will be draining out. You can see it draining down the bottom there. Let's just drain it out. It's a pretty low point in that boiler. If you want it to be the absolute lowest point in that boiler, all you have to do is raise the front a little bit. That will be the lowest point. So put a block under it. Becomes the lowest point. You'll get pretty much most of that water out. The gas tank will seal, so if you want to leave the gas in there, if you've already ran for a bit, just make sure it's squeezed down pretty tight. That should seal for next time. Gas will just sit there waiting for you to use it again. And the next thing you need to do before you start running again is your displacement lubricator. So inside where it's been running, you feel it's a little bit oily in that chimney. Ours is quite hot, be careful you don't burn yourself. There's a little bit of oil there, so you know that displacement lubricator is working, it's oiling. And what you have to do is empty out the water and replace it with your steam oil. So once this is cooled down, I'll open the screw on the displacement lubricator and I shall put a pipe down to the bottom of the lubricator, draw out the water with a syringe and then replace it. Then you're pretty much ready to go again. If you wanted to turn it around while everything's still pretty warm, you can of course take the safety valve out, refill and start again.